Well, I want to introduce our guests and then, see whether we take the debate forward or we put out our report on the other scam that's breaking out. We're following two scams today. Sanjay Jha of the Congress, Hardeep Puri of the BJP, Jitendra Bhargava is Executive Director of Air India, because we have the other story, it's former Executive Director Air India. We have the other story on the aviation scam. C Singh, former Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs. After all, that ambassador writes a letter for Jet-Etihad, serious business. Mahroof Raza, a strategic affairs expert. Captain Gopinath, MD of Deccan Aviation. Gurudas, Dasgupta following that story, as well as, what's building up, the Rolls-Royce scam that's going to become really big now. Gentlemen, what should we do? Should we go straight into the debate? Sanjay Jha, Hardeep Puri, let me ask the two political representatives, or should we? Okay, let's go straight into the debate, then we'll come into the second, talk a little bit about the second scam. Now, Sanjay Jha, a husband-wife company with no real office, no real experts, no real employees, which I don't know what services it provided Rolls-Royce, gets between 500 to 600 crores in commissions on defense deals. This has become another Bofors, and you know that we have the papers on this today. So this is becoming another Bofors, isn't it?
Yeah, Arnab, I can tell you that, let us not indulge in kite flying and wild speculations here. As it stands today in the case, Rolls-Royce has got a serious challenge for itself. Let me tell you, you're talking about a company which has got a turnover of close to 13 billion pounds.
I'm talking about the kickbacks or the commissions.
Globally. It's been doing business with India. No, I'm just answering your question. Rolls-Royce is fully aware that in Indian defense purchases of any equipment from abroad, we have a procedure, one that clearly says no agent, and that is part of the
I have the company filings. I have the company filings.
And now with this company in Singapore,
I'm not talking about Rolls-Royce, sir. Everybody in the world knows Rolls-Royce. I'm talking about the company filings, Hardeep Puri. The company filings, and I'll start pointing out to parts here. One minute.
The Rolls-Royce is the company that is alleged to be paying kickbacks. That's the reason why you got to start
in an Indian defense deal done by your government. 1 second. An Indian defense deal done by your government.
The deal has been done by the Indian government.
Yeah.
The kickback has got nothing to do with us. Let me tell you.
So the Bofors deal was also done by the Indian government. What kind of a bizarre argument is that?
Various offshore centers.
No, the Bofors deal was also done by an Indian government.
Let me tell you, Arnab. Yeah. But we are talking here of kickbacks, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, kickbacks, of course.
Once again, I'm going to just request you not to get melodramatic about it. There is
what is melodramatic about?
The serious
I have company filings.
India is concerned.
I have company filings. Have you seen them?
Where India is concerned, the government has already ordered a CBI inquiry.
After the scam came out in the UK.
A very well-known public sector firm has already done a vigilance investigation into the whole problem. Let us see what surfaces, and once something surfaces, the guilty will be brought to book.
Well, what has surfaced, by the way, and I can tell you this, Sanjay Jha, things surface very quickly. I'll tell you two parts. The viewers know. A company gets 500 to 600 crores in commissions. Sanjay Jha uses the more less profane word. He says these are commissions. Some people will say they are kickbacks. Somebody who's a little more direct may feel these are bribes. Right? Anyway, let's not go into those semantics here. There are two parts here. Who does this money go to? It goes to a company. Ladies and gentlemen, point out here, company file notings, general wholesale trade. They are not registered for what they claim they are doing. They claim consultancy. This is the document which shows they don't do consultancy. Secondly, address put out here. Look here. The address 45 Cantonment Road, Singapore is the address of an accounting firm. It is an address of an accounting firm. Who puts these kind of addresses out? Hardeep Puri, usually shell companies, cover companies. Shell companies and cover companies, right? I can go on, but this is no speculation, and Sanjay Jha ought to know this, that when Times Now goes after an issue as serious as this, as we have proven in several investigations in the past, we do so with documents and facts. We take away the fluff, we throw out the rhetoric, we have the facts, we want the answers. Hardeep Puri, can this be turned aside? Is this becoming bigger?
Arnab, thank you very much, and I'd like to be able to speak without being interrupted without being interrupted by either my friend Sanjay Jha or others, the issue here appears to be serious, but we have to tread with some degree of caution. The BJP, through various spokesmen, have today outlined what our concerns on this are. I would like to follow on what my senior colleague Prakash Javadekar said during the course of an interview to your channel. Whilst this issue needs to be looked at, and you need to discover what precisely the arrangement with this entity that you call Ashmore is with Indian agencies and Rolls-Royce, and what precisely the terms of reference are for the commissions or kickbacks or whatever they are. Let us insulate the defense forces.
No, who's touching it? No, Hardeep Puri. Hardeep Puri, 1 minute. Hardeep Puri, let me lay it out clearly. 1 second. Mr. Puri, 1 minute. Mr. Puri, that's no argument. That's no argument. Nobody's saying that. So don't build an argument where none exists.
Listen,
there is no argument. Bofors was a great gun. Mr. Puri, Bofors was a brilliant gun. 1 minute. Bofors was a brilliant gun. Is the BJP making a case here? Is the BJP making a case? Rolls-Royce is a great company. Let's not talk about the bribes given. I am shocked that the BJP spokesperson makes that point tonight.
That's not the issue.
I'm shocked. We are talking kickbacks,
let me complete this.
You are not allowing
me to complete
Come to the issue.
Look, for heaven's sake,
nobody's talking about Rolls-Royce being a great company. You can't shout your way
out of this. There is an issue here. There is an issue here. We are using Rolls-Royce engines on all manner of platforms, civilian and military. Please inquire into that, but don't go into a battery kind of situation.
Who is going into that? Am I talking about that, Mr. Hardeep Puri? The only thing we are talking about is the commission pay.
I am telling you, please, BJP wants an investigation.
Yes, so come to the point. Yeah, so come to the point. Don't give me the caveats.
Don't mix up
Come to the point, Mr. Puri, come to the point.
Please don't. You need to inquire into an issue. You need to inquire into an issue. You don't need to make up stories.
May I make up some point? I'll tell you something, Mr. Puri. Understand this, okay? This whole long caveat. Bofors was made. Bofors is a great gun. Let's not demoralize the forces. Oh, Rolls-Royce is a great engine. Let's not do anything which will hurt defense or procurement.
You cancelled the Bofors, you blacklisted Bofors, then we were having to get spare parts from others.
So, Mr. Puri, Mr. Hardeep Puri, what is your concern? Mr. Puri, 1 minute. Mr. Puri, my God! The BJP spokesperson turns out on the Newshour to be the strongest and most anguished that we are raising the issue of kickbacks. I thought you'd raise the question yourself.
You should look into the kickbacks.
I thought you'd raise the question yourself. I'm saying tonight, can the government describe the exact nature of the tie-up between Ashmore and Ashmore? Where does a Singapore-based company with dubious papers have a relationship with Rolls-Royce? Rolls-Royce says that the contract expired in 2013. Rolls-Royce says the company reported the contract expired in 2013. I don't know what the tie-up related back to. Should the government not clarify that? What are the deals between Rolls-Royce and HAL that are under scrutiny? Was that under the ambit of the, what is the ambit of the CBI probe? What is the ambit of the CBI probe? If Ashmore,
my relationship with my employees.
If Ashmore is under investigation, can the Ministry of Defence explain?
Rolls-Royce can have multiple arrangements. What has the government of India got to do with it? And the government of India, when it got to know that there was, when they admitted that they used a certain entity in Singapore, the government of India immediately initiated an inquiry, which is the reason why today you have a CBI.
What can the government of India do? Gurudas,
Dasgupta. For heaven's sake, please give Mr. Puri credit for having taken a pragmatic standpoint here. What he's saying is this,
Sanjay Jha,
defense preparedness
Mr. Sanjay Jha,
Rolls-Royce has been
Mr. Sanjay Jha,
Rolls-Royce is a very professional
Mr. Sanjay Jha, I know you are delighted.
If there is a kickback
Mr. Sanjay Jha, listen please, it will be good for you. You don't know about this news report. You need to know the seriousness of it. And I'm telling you tonight, Mr. Sanjay Jha, do not run down. Do not run down what people in this country feel even tonight about Bofors. Today, 25 years after Bofors, you question why I am questioning commissions. 25 years after Bofors, you have this give a damn attitude about commissions.
Bofors was a scandal.
And this is not a scandal.
We are more committed than you are.
We've got...
By the way, Mr. Antony is more committed to getting to the bottom of it than you are.
1 minute.
But don't in the process
No, 1 minute.
Don't destroy,
The defense
the
minister,
acquisition
Mr.
process
A.K.
of the
Antony,
armed
is more
forces.
determined and he's more resolved to get to the bottom of it than you are, Mr. Goswami. Please don't try and escalate it into some
let me tell you this. I'll say this 1 minute, gentlemen, 1 minute. Between, let's get others also. On the issue of corruption, it is the firm belief of any media organization. If there is an alleged act of corruption, and this is a very serious issue, Rolls-Royce writes to HAL in December last year saying it has paid a commission to Ashmore Private Limited. If the letter is written in December, Antony orders a probe of a CBI inquiry in March. There's a lag of 3 months. What are you waiting for? The elections? And I think everyone will take a call. Oh, really? Oh, there's no lag. Rolls-Royce, when did Rolls-Royce write the letter? When did Rolls-Royce write the letter?
1 minute.
When did Rolls-Royce write the letter? When did Rolls-Royce write the letter, Sanjay Jha? When did Rolls-Royce write the letter? When did Rolls-Royce write the letter, Mr. Jha? Are you going to make speeches and not take questions? When did Rolls-Royce write the letter, Mr. Jha?
Well, I'm taking your questions.
When did Rolls-Royce write the letter, Mr.
I'm
Jha?
answering your question.
When did Rolls-Royce write the letter, Mr. Jha?
When the letter was received by HAL.
When was it received? Give me the time and the date.
Manufacturing public
when was it
unit
received?
Based out of Bangalore.
When was it
got
received?
Some brilliant, outstanding talent.
When
they got this letter, they initiated an inquiry, which is the reason why.
When was it received? An inquiry in March, a letter received in December, and the Congress spokesperson says 3 months is no delay. Gurudas, Dasgupta, do you smell something in here in this?
It's not 3
Do you
months,
smell a scam, Gurudas, Dasgupta?
I smell a rat. Absolutely. It is a kickback. It is illegal gratification. It is against the law of India. It is undermining the defense interest of India. It is a blot, the way in which the government is functioning. It is an untold story. And please do not be bewildered. We are in a situation of one after another skeletons tumbling out of the cupboards, full of skeletons. Beginning from Bofors till today, it is full of scandals. Particularly, the government who has been in power has squandered away India's money, not for the benefit of the country, but for the benefit of the middleman. Why it is that the scandal is exposed in a foreign country, and then government of India takes up the issue? Why there is no intelligence? Why there is no counterintelligence? Why there is no proper vigilance? Why government has to be awakened by a report generated outside the country? Same story. The same happened in Bofors.
Yeah.
The same happened here. Therefore, it is the same untold story getting exposed in the foreign countries. There is no answer. Only answer is the people who are responsible for it must be kicked out of the power and put in a jail.
I give you more proof. Once, Mahroof, I want to just quickly go to you on this. I will let you go after that. The point here is, forget the defense acquisition process, right? All I'm saying is, in this country, you cannot give Exide batteries to submarines. That process takes years. It doesn't cost much. You don't have a reconnaissance vehicle which can actually do relief. It costs a few
Arnab,
300
you're totally wrong on the batteries. You're totally wrong. Sindhu Ratna had a battery which was completely in order.
Mr. Hardeep Puri, you know nothing on this, Mr. Puri. Mr. Puri, you know nothing on this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to see how the BJP representative is batting for the government. Mr. Puri, you know nothing on this. Mr. Puri, you don't, because you haven't seen the papers which I have. You haven't seen the papers which I have, and your enthusiasm in supporting the Congress. You haven't seen the papers which I have. I will show you the papers that submarine was running on a second-hand battery. That submarine, Mr. Hardeep Puri, if you have the courage to listen, then please do. If you have the courage to listen, please do. If you don't want the courage to listen, don't. But I'll tell you this, Mr. Hardeep Puri. I will tell you this, Mr. Hardeep Puri.
I have the facts, and you
don't have the facts at all, Mr. Puri. The fact is this, and listen to me now. The fact is I have papers, I'll send them to you, okay? Mr. Puri, and you read them, and let me see if you retain your conviction after that. The letters prove that a battery was picked up from another submarine, that the procurement process took a long time, and that the government of India decided that in the interim till the new submarine, that the submarine gets a battery is picked up from another submarine and put it on this one. That's what I call second-hand ad hocism, Mr. Puri. I don't know which word in the English language you would use to describe it. I call that compromising the lives of our sailors and our officers, Mr. Puri. I don't know what word you would use to explain it, and I request you to restrain your enthusiasm in supporting the Congress party and the government on this one. I'll come back after a short break. We have one more scam on the other side.
I am not supporting the Congress.
I'll come back.
To the
You have twice tonight. You have twice the BJP representative enthusiastically defending Mr. Antony. Difficult to believe, but it's happening live on national television. I'll come back on the other side. I'll come back on the other side, Mr. Antony. I'll come back, Mr. Before we go to the next scam, I think we'll place the facts very correctly on this one, so that the BJP representatives gets the perfect picture. Now, it is a well-known fact that in order to save face, Hardeep Puri, in order to save face, some current members of the Navy top brass have bowed to Defence Ministry pressure and declared after some kind of a botched up internal inquiry that there was nothing wrong with the battery. Now, I'll tell you why this is completely incorrect. It is because we have papers here, Western Naval Command papers, which perhaps you have not looked at, accessed by Times Now, which make it absolutely clear that INS Sindhuratna was running on aging batteries. And the last line of this should suffice to explain to you. It says that the contract was finally concluded MS Exide on December 3rd, 2013. However, the new battery set post-commissioning is likely to be available for installation on board Sindhuratna only by early July 2014. Early July 2014. And in the interim, battery set X Sindhu Keshri, which had completed 103 cycles and was set to expire by April 1st, 2014, was reappropriated on board Sindhuratna. Okay, so these are the facts. There was a procurement process. The procurement process was not completed. It is in this period that the accident happened. I'm not scoring points here. All I'm saying this to you, that these are Western Naval Command documents. You can have an internal report and say that the aging batteries were working fine. No, you can say the aging batteries were working fine, but
I'm agreeing with you.
Yes.
Arnab, please, I'm agreeing with you. 113 cycles, 200 cycles is the life of a battery. I agree with you. I am against the Congress policies, I'm against the corruption, I'm against the mismanagement, I'm against the lack of decision making. I'm on your side. All I am saying is, please, in this discussion, there is another dimension. Let us not undermine the preparedness of our defense forces.
The preparedness which has been thoroughly compromised by this government.
Let's get to the bottom of the corruption.
The preparedness has been thoroughly compromised by the government. I'll get Mahroof in on this part one. 1 second. Mahroof,
I agree with
Mahroof,
you.
Your view. Mahroof, your view.
I agree with
Mahroof,
you.
purely on the issue of kickback, purely on the issue of commissions. I know commissions cannot be allowed. That's dealing the part of whether Rolls-Royce is bad. Who says Rolls-Royce is bad? Rolls-Royce is great. Bofors is great as a gun. But that's not the issue here. We have more details emerging on this Singapore link. Mahroof, can it be wished aside?
Arnab, there are 3 or 4 points other than what the speakers have made, and especially Mr. Dasgupta very comprehensively summed up a whole lot of issues. Let me tell you, somebody is paying the commission, but who's receiving it? Now, we may say that Mr. Antony is clean, but there is a chain up the whole chain where there are windows available, where envelopes can be passed. We are not addressing it. By saying a CBI inquiry will take place is a euphemism or an alibi to delay things. Tell me which CBI inquiry on defense-related issues has given us results. No single CBI inquiry worth the name has pinpointed the blame on anybody. So Mr. Antony is trying to play Mr. Clean by passing the buck to the CBI. If CBI can do everything, then what is he doing as defense minister? Can't he sort out the defense ministry? Can't he take people to task in the various other departments? That is my concern as a citizen. The other point which I'm really concerned about is this, that every time something happens, you blacklist a whole list of companies.
That's right.
That are affiliate of a large group. That means the Indian
absolutely
Air Force
correct.
is going
Absolutely
to ask
correct.
its going to ask its pilots to train on gliders tomorrow, because the Hawks cannot be made available, the Embraer jet cannot be made available, the Jaguar engine cannot be made available. They are all from Rolls-Royce. So therefore, our pilots are going to go to war on gliders. That is the state of play that we are reaching with either this government or the other. For heaven's sake,
that's why I'm saying tonight.
Who has received the money?
And that's why I'm saying
absolutely right.
And that's why I'm saying tonight. That's why I'm saying tonight. That is why I'm saying tonight. I'm not saying Rolls-Royce is not a bad company. Bofors was not a bad company, but what is the cost of doing business in India? Why do you have to transact in paying commission? Who wants the commission?
It is a political mismanagement.
And I'm only questioning the sincerity.
Corruption needs to be attacked.
I'm questioning the sincerity of the investigation on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, with your permission, I'm going to story number 2. And Casey, I'm coming to you, Captain Gopinath and Jitendra Bhargava on the other side, because your expertise is wanted. Now, this is our second news report. This is a deal that has been cheered by some and questioned by many back home. Some regulators have questioned the nature of the agreement in the mega civil aviation deal signed recently. But while these questions are being asked, it's an unprecedented, shocking intervention by a diplomat stationed in the UAE in the Jet-Etihad deal, which is raising some very serious questions tonight. I'm coming back on the debate.
A deal which has seen turbulent times ever since the two airlines were in talks. And with the show cause notice issued by Secy to Etihad over its deal with Jet Airways, it only appears to have once again flown into rough weather. But while the controversy surrounding the deal has come under scrutiny by watchdog Competition Commission of India, a letter with Times Now, written just a week after the show cause notice, raises fresh questions.
In what can be termed as quite unprecedented, the Indian ambassador not only shoots off this email to the Department of Economic Affairs, but he goes that extra mile and drafts a letter on behalf of FIPB. The contents of the letter are aimed at ensuring a quick clearance for a private deal between Jet and Etihad.
The stakes are high for Etihad, which will have to make an open offer to buy the entire 25% public holding in Jet if it fails to respond to the notice. The notice by Secy after concerns were raised by the Competition Commission of India over who actually controlled Jet Airways. The man whose letter has triggered a controversy, Indian envoy to the UAE, while speaking to Times Now, confirmed drafting the note to the Finance Ministry.
This is an important matter that affects India's bilateral relationship with UAE. Any relationship has to be furthered by, having agreements.
But when Times Now confronted the UPA minister, he justified the ambassador's controversial note, insisting it is very much a part of the envoy's duty.
An ambassador on the ground has some information. He must share that information. Who will he share that information with? He must have sent a copy to the ministry.
It is now part of the responsibility of every Indian diplomat to promote the trade interests and commercial interests of India. And that will include sometimes helping Indian companies, and it certainly will include promoting investment in India.
Following the revelation of the diplomat's controversial letter, the opposition is once again training its guns at the centre.
This government's every decision will lead to a lot of questions.
Government should take a decision keeping in view the interest of Air India without being pressurized.
It was the first deal after India allowed FDI in the aviation sector in 2012. But this letter has raised some serious questions. By drafting a finance ministry note, was the envoy building a case to protect the Jet-Etihad deal from scrutiny? And how can a diplomat advise the finance ministry on a controversial deal? Bureau Report, Times Now.
Okay, C Singh, let me start with you. Why would the Indian ambassador, can you argue saying I'm actually protecting national interest here? Because you are actually drafting a note. It's not promoting national, you're drafting a note. You are advising the Foreign Investment Promotion Board or how to draft its reply on the clarification sought by Secy. That's the Finance Ministry's job, C Singh. Should the ambassador be doing it?
Firstly, Arnab, when you're dealing with the Abu Dhabi ruling family, you must understand that the family owns everything, from oil to gas to the airline to running the ministries to doing everything. There is no difference between the government and the businesses they do. They are all owned by the ruling family. That said, the ambassador has to have a degree of judgment in knowing where your own interests lie and the interests of a private company which goes to, say, Etihad, then uses Etihad and the Abu Dhabi ruling family for you to become their advocate. I think that's where ambassador has probably crossed over. He should not have sent this, and it looks to me he has not drafted that letter. I think that is a letter given by a jet to Etihad.
Isn't that even more shocking? No, isn't that even more shocking?
No.
Isn't that even more shocking, Casey?
So is Jetta using Etihad? They've been using them. For the last many months, they've been using them for the ruling family of Abu Dhabi. They've done various things.
Good.
They wanted Etisalat. Just a minute. They wanted the 2G Etisalat investment to be taken care of. Then they've been saying, we will do this. If you do this for us, we will bring investment to India. So they've been linking different things. But I think the dangerous thing about this deal has always been that we are transferring a major hub to, first we did it in case of Dubai. It was done by the previous civil aviation minister.
I'll come to that, Casey.
Civil aviation minister is giving another hub.
No, I'm coming to that, Casey.
Lasting damage.
I'm coming to that, Casey, but I really don't think I'll get Hardeep in on this. I liked his opinion also. But you know, please understand here, it is not the job of an ambassador to ensure.
I would like to give you my opinion.
I'll come to you. Get Jitendra Bhargava and Captain Gopinath in. You see, an ambassador has no business trying to ensure that a private company, even if the private company is related to the royal family of the country, should be getting a clean sheet over questions raised by the Securities and Exchange Board of India. And if Shashi Tharoor thinks that that's the right thing, I think Shashi Tharoor should reread the book of diplomacy all over again. You have to maintain a certain distance, even while pushing your national interest. Jitendra Bhargava, are you surprised at this? Jitendra Bhargava.
You see, Mr. Casey Singh is spot on. The reality is that the Jet-Etihad deal has right from April 24th and a few weeks earlier enjoyed government patronage. Government has facilitated decisions by various regulatory bodies by putting pressure, and pliable officers have given. CCI, which has resulted in the SEBI notice and this controversy which has come in, also bypassed a whole lot of groundwork that was needed to be done. I filed a petition with Compat challenging the decision of the CCI on Jet-Etihad deal. Now let's look at it. Mr. Tharoor says it is the ambassador's job to take care of trade of the home country. Now the reality is this deal is suicidal for the Indian aviation industry, barring Jet. But every airline suffers, and it is not just Air India, as Mr. Gurudas Dasgupta said, the entire Indian aviation.
No, but I'm not even getting into whether it's good or bad, because the hand of Sanjay Jha goes up there because we move away from the argument. The question is, why is the Indian ambassador trying to issue a clarification that would have defended a foreign company which has been sent a notice by SEBI? Captain Gopinath, please. Captain Gopinath. After that, Sanjay, let's have a round from Captain Gopinath as well. Captain Gopinath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, can I? Yeah, okay. yeah. Let me just have a few minutes. I think Casey Singh, clarified it very well. You know, if you look at the history of Jet Airways, it is crony capitalism at its best or worst. You know, Jet Airways lobbied against FDI to ensure that Kingfisher collapses. They lobbied with every ministry to see that the FDI doesn't happen. And after Kingfisher collapsed, they lobbied for FDI.
But that's not the issue here. That's not the issue here. Let's restrict ourselves to the ambassador's note.
I'm coming to the issue. I'm saying that it's pointed to the same thing. And now Jet Airways is also lobbying against AirAsia coming in. So that means they want.
But I'm not interested in the. I'm not interested in the private competition. I can say Captain Gopinath. 1 minute. I can say Captain Gopinath that by making that argument, you are bringing your own corporate interests and your own corporate background, your own corporate rivalries in display. I'm not interested in that. Comment on the issue. Don't use Times Now as a punching bag.
I'm not in the airline business now.
No, you have been in the airline business. Don't use Times Now as a punching bag. Yeah, go ahead.
Not
1 minute.
No, not now. I'm saying the Tata Singapore Airlines. See, now they're against the Tata Singapore Airlines.
So again, this channel is. I'm not interested in your corporate rivalries. I am asking you, should the ambassador have been writing the note?
Jet Airways Obviously not. Obviously not. That means they are able to, influence the government through the ambassador or through whosoever it is to get the things done the way they want it. The rules are not made for either Jet Airways or Air India. Rules should be made for the country.
Yes.
Rules should be made for ensuring that more people fly. That our hubs are maintained in the country.
Well, anyway,
we should only ask one question.
The question is,
3% of India is traveling.
1 minute, one minute. Briefly, yes, briefly.
Yeah,
I see
yes,
two hands go up. I need to go back to the political
role of
parties.
ambassador ought to be looked at in the total context, that at every stage, this deal has been patronized by government departments.
The ambassador does not act on his own?
Listen, ambassador has naturally been asked, and as
asked by whom?
Mr. Singh said, perhaps it's been drafted by Etihad or Jet and given
but
to
that's a scam, isn't it?
No, it is. There's no denying. But if you look up the entire deal, there is scam at all stages.
No,
and
but
all government agencies have
Hardeep Puri's
compromised
response
and not taken an objective decision,
Mahroof wants to come in.
national interests of Indian aviation.
Mahroof wants to come in before that. Hardeep Puri first.
Can I come into this?
Yes.
Can I come in? Look, this is a very serious matter.